there's something that's like slightly, well, it was like, I mean, it's slightly ironic, but I just missed. It has to do with this disastrous effect of, like, well, just let's talk about the effect of the shutdown of the government on the economy. There, if I was you watch, I came in the TV with the volume off, like, and then your narrator made a mistake, but the mistake is actually, like, points out something. It looked like, President Obama's inviting, like, leaders. It meant leaders in of the, Congress and Senate to the White House to discuss what's happening. But what came to my mind when I just saw he was inviting leaders at the right, like, the actual reality is, like, what other in other countries, that he should be meeting with world leaders about this, and finding out, like, what they're going to do, like, why how bad is this from their perspective, because, and here's the thing, but they, like, world leaders are watching what's happening. They're aware that the shutdown of the government, like, has an effect that is not, like, the focus, but it goes back to what we said here in the article, and it says, shutdown, but the effect of the shutdown on the dollar, right? And this macro strategist from London says the main question is, he says, why own the dollar? Right. I mean, world leaders, and, like, who are aware of reality and, like, things, would, I'm sure, should be meeting with Obama. Like, you have a political class that's harming your economy in this way, and don't seem to be aware of the fact that, like, the people that won all the foreign lenders and investors that hold blocks of your currency are now starting to sell it off. And we'd like to talk seriously about switching the reserve currency to the euro over here, because this is incredible that, like, you shut down the government, on top of everything else you're doing to harm, like, people in your own country. This is that you already international lenders and investors who can move money in and out of your economy as they wish. China would say, because, you shouldn't do that, but you shouldn't allow that to happen. But your people aren't aware of it or something. But the problem is, right, I mean, like, world leaders are watching this and saying, like, you know what, why own the dollar? And why have it as the reserve currency? And if they switch it to the euro, I mean, if world leaders decide they want to do that, then there's a really serious problem. Um, and also these sort of block currency traders overseas, says here, right, that this issue of the debt ceiling, the government shutdown, it is becoming more, like, of urgent concern to them. Right. I mean, this is the kind of thing the president's meeting with these, like, kind of characters that operate in our Congress and Senate. The reality is he should be meeting with world leaders and saying, like, just how close are we to you, like, demanding that the reserve currency switch to the euro. Like, because, like, they're people, they're selling off everyone, the people who own blocks of our currency overseas, like, Europe, and especially in, like, Britain and stuff, they're just selling off their dollars as we speak. And, like, he should meet with the world leaders to see if he could get them to, say, like, we'll figure this out, like, our my parliament, I mean, my Congress and Senate will, come into reality somehow. Like, don't worry. I know they appear to be unaware that, like, all the, foreign investors and, like, major foreign banks are selling off all their dollars, and we know you've been thinking for a long time of switching the reserve currency to the euro. Like, please don't, like, jump to conclusions. Like, I'll do a Jedi mind trick and, like, get my Congress and Senate to come into reality. No one lives in reality in my country, but we'll work on it. I mean, that's actually what should happen.